All right, so good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where in the world you are. It's lovely to see you all back. And so today we'll do what we've done most days now, is just check in with each person, find out how you're doing, and if there's any particular questions, experiences, targets that you'd like to aim at, that you'd like to add to the list for today's aiming session. And Steve has managed to catch up on the editing of the videos, by the way, so all of the videos are up to date now on the page. There's one piece, just the show notes, the timestamps for the most recent one. He wasn't able to get that done, completed this morning before he had his session with the client, so we'll add that a bit later. But apart from that, they should all be up to date, so that's good. So let's check in with each person, and then we'll do some aiming. So, Kathy, hi, how are you today?
I'm fine, thank you, Odile. I was working on some stuff yesterday with myself, and I realized that I have not established strong enough boundaries in my life.
Right, yes.
So that is something I would love to have aimed at.
Very good. Very good. Okay, boundaries. And then in addition to, we'll aim at that. And of course, in addition to that, you can create new memories in your childhood of boundaries, whatever that means to you, and whatever you should have had as a child, you can create that now in your subconscious. So that will help to really enforce, instill that change.
Right.
Very good. You're very welcome, love. All right, and going on to Cheryl. Hi, Cheryl. How are you today?
Well, I'm having some stress. Or whatever it is. I'm just having a little trouble breathing.
Okay.
I forced myself to come on because I want to feel better, but I just keep trying to breathe. I just feel a little overwhelmed with, just like I said about the basement and all that. Just I've dredged up a lot of junk, and so I just have to process it.
Yes. Okay, so a couple of things. So the breathing, that, yes, as you know, with stress, when stress chemicals go into your system, it makes your breathing shallower. So it's normal. So let's do this right now. So take a deep breath, close your eyes, and think of your favorite color. And what's your favorite color, Cheryl?
It's a kind of a blue. It's a blue.
Blue, beautiful. All right, so
imagine blue-green kind of.
Blue-green, nice. Imagine being surrounded by that beautiful blue-green all around you. And notice the way you love that color. So notice what it is about that color you love. Notice its vibration. It's got, colors have vibrations. So notice the particular vibration of that beautiful blue-green. Very good. Good job. And now, what is your subject, the subject you use for the superpower exercise?
Well, when you ask me that question, I think of who am I focusing on for
Yes, that's right, yes.
Okay, so I focus on my son.
Perfect. Okay, lovely. And what do you love about your son?
He listens to me. He respects me. He values me.
Very good.
I told him yesterday my relationship with him is the healthiest relationship I have.
Isn't that a gift?
That's and I'm quarantined with him, so I take that as a good sign.
That is so lucky and so perfect. That's wonderful. And does he have a beautiful smile?
Oh yes, he does.
Lovely. That's great. And what color are his eyes?
Well, they're beautiful. They're different. They're kind of a brown green. Not hazel, just a little bit different.
Fantastic. Very good. So imagine hugging your son now. And think of all the things you love about him, all those reasons you love him, and the wonderful connection between you. That amazing connection between you. You got that?
Mm-hmm.
Very, very good. Good job. And how are you feeling now?
Safer.
Sort of good. Very good. Yes. So the idea is try not to think about your breathing and just relax into it. Know that it's more shallow just because you've been stressed, and that's okay. It's okay for it to be shallow at the moment, and it will get deeper. So make sure that you keep focusing on like the beautiful color and of course your son. And the more, for everyone, the more you go into the reasons why you love the thing you love, the more you'll be producing those chemicals. And as I was saying yesterday, oxytocin is very, very powerful. It has a powerful positive effect on your body physiologically. So the more you feel the love, but in a very gentle way. So you don't need to push it. You don't need to try. Just think about why I love this person or this animal or this thing or this place. Very calmly. And I suspect that as we go through this session today, you'll start to notice a difference. But keep taking your focus off your breathing and put it onto the positive. Does that sound doable?
I have to tell you what's going on in the back of me too is that I'm stressing out that I'm taking up time from everyone else. Like I'm sitting here saying, oh my God, I'm taking up everyone's time. So.
Okay. All right. So first of all, let me reassure you that that's what we're here for. And we absolutely love it when someone takes up some time. Okay. Because otherwise Steve and I would be sitting here by ourselves, and that's not, we love each other and we spend 24/7 together, but it's not quite, it's nice to have this. So number one, we love helping. So you are doing us a favor. Number two, and most importantly, you're helping others, because there are so many people who on the call live and watching the recording that aren't able to speak out and say and ask for help and reach out, or perhaps they're shy or self-conscious, or perhaps they don't feel confident enough to be able to reach out for help. And sometimes people don't even know that what the issue is. And then they hear someone like you talking about yours, because you are not alone. We all have, everyone has, some of you may know Deirdre McGuire, and she says, and this is so spot on, the problems are the same, the stories are different. We all have the same problems. It's just the details and the stories and the characters and that are different. So you are actually, not only are you not taking up time, you are actually providing a service. So it's the complete opposite.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. And then in addition to that, of course, the feeling that you're taking up more time is coming from your childhood. That's just, so it's not anything to do with now. Your subconscious is referring to those references in your childhood and then producing those chemicals that make you feel like you're being an inconvenience. Does that make sense?
Totally.
Good. And then the other thing is, and I'm sorry, I know I'm keeping you on the spot now because but I'm doing this because I know it will help others as well. So I'm speaking not just to you, I'm speaking to everyone. The other thing you can do is, as you're feeling that feeling, give that little Cheryl a hug. Give that little you a hug and tell her it's okay, because it's her that feels like she's taking up time and she's really not.
Okay.
So
that feels better to me.
Good job. Good job. All right, you're very welcome. Oh, and I also wanted to say about just on a practical level, about the basement and that, just a little tip that I'll share with you that helped me, because you can't believe the amount of clutter that I had in my life. And when my mum died in February last year, I had to clean out this whole attic full of stuff, my mum's stuff, my son's stuff, my ex's stuff and my sister, everybody's stuff was in this attic. It was full. And I was so overwhelmed. The reason I was overwhelmed was because so many of those things in there had sentimental value. So it wasn't that they were valuable money-wise, it was there were photographs and knickknacks and stuff that all had a lot of emotions behind it. And two things helped me. Number one, is unconditional love. So I loved the whole lot, whether I got rid of it, whether it stayed there, whether I was able to do it, all of that. And then I also, on a practical level, taking photographs of things. So if there's something that you don't know what to do with, or you don't know whether to keep it, or you don't want to keep it, but you don't want to lose the sentimental value, if you take a photograph of it and then you can donate it or sell it or whatever, and then you've got that for the cent if there's anything. So I don't know if that is the a thing you have, but hopefully
That's
that will.
helpful.
Good.
Thank
you, Cheryl. Thank you, love. And oops, I went to full screen suddenly. Okay, Bogislava. Sorry, Bogiswava. Ha.
Yes.
Steve taught me to say it properly.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you this morning, Bogiswava?
I'm good. Thank you. I have a question about dream. I wanted to ask you yesterday, but was too late. So I had a dream like 2 nights ago, and I know dream is like some subconscious is telling you something.
Yes.
Is that right?
Well, the way I see it, so I used to think that, and then because of what I've learned about the brain and everything since then, the way I see it is not necessarily that your subconscious is trying to tell you something, but just more that your subconscious is processing information. And as it's processing information, your conscious mind tries to make sense of the information. And that's what dreams are. Now, no one really knows for sure. Science doesn't know for sure what it is. That's just what I think it is. So I think, and I've found in my own experience, that I'll have a dream and I'll think, yeah, it's the subconscious just trying to work things out, process. What they do know is that when we're sleeping, the subconscious works out what to keep, what to get rid of, what to move into long-term memory, that kind of thing. So I think that processing is what we experience as dreams.
Just a little bit scares me, that dream.
Okay, what do you want to share a little bit, or why?
I can, if it is I had some kind of, I don't know, I think infection in my legs from knee down. It was like a cuts everywhere, and that cut was open and infected. And
This
I was
in the
like,
dream,
oh
yeah.
my God, do I have an infection? What's going on? What is it? I don't know. It's kind
And
of
which leg was it?
both.
Both legs. Okay.
Both legs.
All right. So, and what was the feeling in the dream?
Kind of worry.
Worried.
And
Yes.
ugly.
Yeah. And so, do you recognize that feeling from your waking life at all? Nothing to do with your legs, but worried.
Worry. All my life I am worried.
Yeah. And so here's what I would, and I am not a dream interpreter at all, but this is what would make sense to me, just knowing a little bit about, from what you've shared in these sessions. I would say that is a fear of moving forward.
Oh.
So legs moving forward, a fear of, so having the cut in your leg, the infection. To me, all of that makes sense with the changes you're making. So if your subconscious is processing change, processing that fixture that you've always had of being worried, and now you're trying to change that and not be worried anymore and move forward. And so I don't think there's anything you need to do consciously. I think that was just your subconscious making those, rearranging your brain, making those changes, rearranging the references and that kind of thing. So I think it's a positive dream.
This has sense because I wanted to move forward and I couldn't. There was a person who stopped me from it.
There you go.
And I just give up from that person and I say, that's it. No more bullshit, sorry.
Perfect.
And I don't care anymore. I'm going to do what I need to do for me.
Perfect. Bogusława, that is absolutely perfect. So that was that was that process happening in your brain.
Maybe because I was constant, and I still think about that person, and it's like for years and years, and it's like I say, I have to stop it. That's it.
Good for you. And that's you leveling up. That's you changing and moving forward and leveling up. And it's your subconscious is catching up by processing and trying to make sense of it and put the new references in place.
Okay, so sometimes the scary thing is good thing.
Absolutely. In fact, very often that's the case. The scary thing is the good thing.
That's very good. Thank you.
Good job. You're very welcome.
I would like to aim today, I am alone and I feel all the time alone. Even I have kids, but they are far away from me. I'm really alone at home with my cat only, and I really feel alone. I don't have much friends. I don't have much family.
Okay.
I'm actually alone.
Okay, so I'm putting it on the list for aiming at, and something that you can use as well is the way we see something, the perspective we have determines our experience of it. So for some people, being alone is, they do it on purpose because they want to be alone, they love being alone, and it's peaceful and, all of that. For other people, it feels lonely, and other people again can be lonely even when they're surrounded by people. Even when they have people who love them, they can feel lonely. So the feeling of being alone is nothing to do with your circumstances. It's just the chemical state inside you. So what I would suggest, in addition to, we'll aim at it today, but in addition to that, I would spend some time with the little you and changing any memories of being alone as a child. Surround that little you with friends and parties and
yeah, that has sense what you're saying. Yeah, now when I go back when I was little, yeah. That's sense. And about saying when I was with my son when he was here, I like it when he was 3-4 days away or 1 week or 2 weeks. I was in heaven. I love to be alone. Exactly. But now I am really alone. He go for 5 months, and I'm not gonna see my daughter even, because usually I see her once, twice a year, no more. But now with this situation, where I'm gonna see each other for a very long time. Yeah. So I really feel different. Like I am alone this time.
So so here's also, so I would definitely change the childhood, but also here's a great example of the conscious mind. Of the interpretation of the conscious mind, because your subconscious doesn't know that your son is going to be away for 5 months. To your subconscious, your son could be in the next room, or he could have popped out to the shop, because
I did that before, but doesn't work. I know he's there.
So the reason it doesn't work is because your conscious mind then goes, so when you think of your son, you are consciously thinking of the fact that he's away for 5 months. You know what I mean? So as you think of him, you're thinking, so if you start paying attention, noticing what you're thinking about, where you're putting your focus during the day, you'll probably find that you're thinking about the fact that he's away for such a long time, the fact that you won't see your daughter, and that you're on your own, what it means to be alone. And the fact, so you're looking ahead, because your subconscious is only ever in the moment. Everything's happening right now. It's not looking like, so I'm now going to be alone for this period of time, but your conscious mind is. And the great news is you have control of your conscious mind. You can choose, even though it does it on its own sometimes, but you have the ability to keep correcting it, redirecting it. Because the truth is, you're not alone. There's nobody physically in the house with you, but it's never been easier to keep in contact with people, to connect with people. So, the internet alone has a huge, there's all kinds of people, and there are other people who are feeling isolated, who are on their own physically and feeling isolated. So there's opportunities for connection there. And of course, there's this group. So you're not alone in the way, in the way that you're completely isolated. It's just nobody's physically in the house with you at the moment. Does that? So whenever you get that feeling, reason that out for yourself. Remind yourself and go, no, that's not true. It's just coming from childhood. It's not actually real right now. And so change those childhood memories, of course, and practice the unconditional love, and then pick things you love to do. Connect with people online wherever you can. Are you on Facebook or other social media?
Yeah, mostly I go on Facebook. Yeah.
Great. So you can always go there and connect with people there through our group, you know, and others and that kind of thing. So
I'm shy. I'm not that.
you're shy?
Yeah.
That's all right. You can just connect with me.
Okay.
You know, just put a post there, hi Odile, and that sort of thing, whenever you're feeling like, you know, and listen to these videos, listen to other videos, so that you are in control and you are choosing where your focus is going, because you are choosing where to look and what to do next. Does that help?
Oh yes, a lot. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Good job. You're very welcome, sweetheart. All right, and next we have Katrina. Hey, Katrina.
Oh God. Is that going to work?
We can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, and it looks beautiful there
Oh
today.
my God.
We've
Yes,
got
it's
some rain here.
Oh, really? No, it's been lovely here all day.
Ah, lovely.
Okay. Right. So today, now the sun is, what do you call it? Blinding me. But anyway, I would like this to be targeted at, so I'm just going to read it out because it's, and see where it takes us. I'm aware of judging and criticizing myself with my eyes, and then I just dismiss how I made myself feel. Then I see my partner looking with his disapproving eyes, and then there's a program, I feel second best because his ex-partner was super slim, and I find it really hard to accept this extra weight that I'm carrying. So just
Okay.
target that.
Yes, indeed. I'm making a note here. And so we will definitely target that.
And just out of curiosity, why am I carrying the extra weight on the legs?
On your legs? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they've really swollen up 3 times.
Okay.
Just when
Bogiswava.
I was mentioning her legs.
Yes. Okay, so a couple of things. The first thing I would say, and this is very important for everyone, the very first port of call would be to check with a medical professional. So you know, if ever there's anything unusual like swollen legs or anything else that you don't know what's causing it, definitely check with. So in your case, Katrina, I'm assuming you can call the NHS helpline and run the symptoms by them. So
no, they're not that big. Do you know what I mean? They're not.
Visions.
I'm not ringing whatever. No, just a week.
All right. So that out of the way, but I say that mainly for everybody else as well, in case anyone else is experiencing anything, you know, physical symptoms. And then the next thing is that moving forward, you know, anything to do with the legs can be metaphorical for moving forward. So a heaviness, a reluctance to move forward, perhaps something like that. That's one option. The other thing you can do, because the other thing it can be is protection. So weight, extra weight is very often protection. And the reason for the protection, remember, is coming from childhood more than anything else. So if you felt unsafe in your childhood, people who felt unsafe as children often, not always, but often carry extra weight. And it's a metaphorical, unconscious expression of trying to protect myself.
No, but I was always really, really skinny up until say 2 or 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, so 2 things there. So sometimes the trigger from childhood only happens as an adult. And the second part is, and you know, because I'm guessing we're around the same age, is that's possible is menopause. So Menopause, I learned that because I I was always very skinny, and then I put on weight, and I was doing everything. I couldn't find any references for it there. And then someone, my doctor, I think it was, mentioned that it's normal when you get old, when you go through menopause, it's your metabolism slows down and you hold on to the weight. And so that is a natural, normal, automatic thing. Again, not everyone does, but it depends on your own body thing. So what that did for me was it made me go, okay, so it's nothing I'm doing. Because, you know, at one point, a few years ago, I was living on only salad pretty much, and working out for 2 hours 3 times a week and everything, and the weight was not budging. And when I say weight, I don't mean muscle weight, I mean my fat, the fat ratio, or whatever that thing's, the BMI was not changing. It was like, this is ridiculous. And so what was happening was my metabolism was slowing down. So hopefully that helps. For that, and you know, we don't like to give nutritional advice or medical advice or anything like that, but I can tell you what I have been doing that has helped me, and I don't know if it would help everyone, but I've been doing intermittent fasting, which is I stop eating in the afternoon. You can do it at any time, and there are I can send you a link to the information that I found it in. There's a Facebook group and everything, the fasting method it's called. And so I do 16-hour fast. I stop in the afternoon and I start sort of late morning, and that works for me. I find that very easy to do. And I never used to be able to go for longer than 2 hours without eating, without feeling shaky. But I changed those references as well. So hopefully that helps. Let me know if you'd like the link to the thing, and I'll to that Facebook group, and I'll send it to you. And that's got all the information there.
All right. Okay. Thanks a million.
You're very welcome, love. All right, and then going on to, oh, that's it. I mean, that's it for everyone who's on camera. And Lisa, you'll have typed yours in here. Hey, so I'm going back up to see. Hi everyone. I feel, oh, thank you, Lisa. I feel amazing. It is so awesome to see you all today, and it's wonderful to see you as always. I love that background, and I love your face and your beautiful smile. All right, and I think, let's have a look. Caro says, I have a little question regarding memories. When I start changing some memories and repeat them and then move on to other memories, the old one I changed tends to come back as they were originally, probably because I stopped repeating them. Is this normal? So when I started, sorry, just speaking of menopause, the reason I'm a little bit distracted is because I've suddenly got this massive hot flash. So I'm reading and then I got distracted. All right, so repeat that and then move on to other memories. Okay, so thank you, Cheryl. I felt that. What happens there, if you have repeated a new memory until it's established, so you know, okay, so that new neural network is established, and now whenever I think of that incident, the new memory is there. If it comes back later, what it often means is that there's still a piece, and I call it an anchor. So that there's still a piece of data somewhere in your subconscious that is triggering that memory, you know, some of those details again. So the answer to it, the way to find it and change it, is to say, okay, so when you try to play the new memory, what is it from the old memory that comes up? And I'm going to give you a real life example that I had with a client, because it's a great client. It's a great example, and it's one of the first ones that I discovered with the anchor memory. So I'm just trying to remember it now. It was such a long time ago. So we changed a memory, and the new memory, instead of being in a building or next to a building, the new memory was a field of flowers. And so she had the field of flowers and that. And when we had the next session, or actually it was, I think, a couple of weeks later or something, and she said the old memory was coming back. And I said, okay, so when you try and remember the field of flowers, what is it from the old memory that's there? What's the first thing or the main thing that comes up? And for her, it was just a brick wall, just a piece of the brick wall. That was the main thing that wouldn't go away and be replaced by the flowers. And so then I said, okay, so when you think of the brick wall, what other memories come up? And they may seem completely unrelated, but just tell me what they are. And for her, it was something completely unrelated. So when she thought of the brick wall, the memory that came was a completely different memory of being in a town somewhere. I mean, in the center of town somewhere, no brick walls, but there was something else happening there. And it wasn't particularly traumatic or anything. It was just a memory. So we changed that. That was the anchor. We don't know why or how. There's no real reason, no apparent reason. We changed that memory to the opposite, positive, empowering. Then we came back to the flowers and the piece of brick wall had gone. And so now the new memory. So in your case, same sort of thing. So when you say the old memory comes, so if you know you've rehearsed the new memory and it was established, and then this old memory comes back, ask yourself when you try to think of the new memory, what is it about that old memory that's coming up or that's drawing your attention? And then when you think of that piece, what does it remind you? Does any other memory come up? And remember, it may have nothing to do with it. So whatever comes up, change it. All right. And then go back to the new memory, see if that's, and just keep doing that until you're able to remember the new memory again and establish it. So I hope that helps, love. Lots of compliments for Cheryl. And Kara, thank you. Okay. And I hope when my daughter grows up, I'll still have a beautiful relationship with her. I'm sure you will. And keep using that unconditional love. And you will. Kara, I see that you have, I think you're on private message to me by accident, because I see you've sent a message for Cheryl, but I think you thought it would go out on the general thing, but it's come to me. So I'm going to read it out. Kara says, Cheryl, we are all learning from each other. Thank you for sharing and trusting us. That was meant to everyone. Oh, I see, that was meant to, I think she said, you realized that the chat was private, meant to everyone. Very good. Cheryl, I can tell you that you're helping me, from someone else. Carrie says, hi, I'm sorry I turned my video off. This is not my most presentable hour. We all love you, Cheryl. Very good. And Steve, hi, Caro, spend some time imagining what that beautiful relationship with your daughter will feel like and look like. Very good. Good job. Thank you, Steve. Thank you for all the beautiful messages. So glad pushed myself to come on. Yes. So I am so glad as well. And this is for everyone. On the days you don't feel like coming, come anyway. And even if you put your video off and just listen in, because it will make a difference. I'm so glad you came as well. Like to aim at the physical disease I have manifested, that I am able to get rid of it, and my sisters will too. Thank you, Carrie. I'm going to put that here. Very good. All right. And then Kathy says, I grew up in a family of 9 and felt desperately lonely at times. I understand how Bogiswava feels. Yes, completely get that. Carrie says, I will be your friend, Bogiswava, so you won't feel alone. Isn't that lovely? Everyone on camera looks, Carrie says, everyone on camera looks really good today. Very good. All right, everyone. So now we're going to do some aiming. I've got a list of everybody who has got some targets to aim at, and I'd like to add one of my own today. just before I got on this call, I had a call from someone letting me know that someone we know has gone missing. So it's not a family member who's gone missing, but it's someone, it's the partner of a friend. So in England. So, and I'm saying those details so Steve doesn't worry that it's someone that we from here, because I haven't had a chance, because he was in a session, I hadn't had a chance to tell him about that call. So what we want to do, I'd like to aim at that as well for now, for everything that's going on there. Okay, so take a deep breath, close your eyes, and go into your superpower state using your phrase or word, or using the beginner's exercise, however you get into it. Very good. Feel your heart opening, feel that expansion in your heart, that beautiful light or energy, that pure, unconditional love. Feel it going down to your toes, up to the top of your head, and out to your fingertips. So you're now full of that light, that energy, that love. Fill each of the 50 trillion cells of your body with that same love, that light, that energy. Now imagine filling your subject with that light or energy, and imagine them trying to get away or rejecting you in some way, and keep them filled with that same energy, that light. Love them just for existing. Very good. And now let's all fill Kathy with that same light or energy, that love. And fill her with that light or energy from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. So she's now full of that light, that energy. Love Kathy just for existing. And Kathy, I'm really sorry I can't read my writing. I can't remember what I can't read what I wrote. Your target that you'd like us? What was it?
Boundaries.
Boundaries, that's right. Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. I couldn't read my scribble. So fill Kathy with that light or energy, all the cells of her body, and love Kathy just for existing. And now I want you to imagine Kathy doesn't have any boundaries, and love her anyway, even without the boundaries. And now imagine that light or energy forming a protective hazmat suit around Kathy, forming the boundaries, energetic boundaries that protect her. And let's send that light, that energy, that love to little Kathy. So Kathy is a child. And boundaries at that time, whatever happened then, fill it all with that light, that energy, that love. Love it all anyway. Shine that light into the darkness. Very, very good. And now let's go to Cheryl. Fill Cheryl with that light, that energy from the tips of her toes to the top of her head, out to her fingertips. Love Cheryl just for existing. And I want you to think of Cheryl's breathing and love that. Whether she has trouble with the breathing or not, love it all anyway. Shine that light into the darkness. Love it all anyway. And now see Cheryl surrounded by that beautiful light, that energy, that love, that power of protection, no matter what. And then see that filling out, spreading out from Cheryl and filling the basement and anything else in her life that she has going on that she needs to deal with. See it all being filled with that light, that energy, that love and appreciation no matter what. Because we know that we can't create anything that's bad for us once we know that we love ourselves. No matter what it looks like, even when it looks bad, it can't turn out to be bad if we know we love ourselves. And so it has to turn out to be good or nothing to worry about. Very good. And now let's move on to Bogusława and fill Bogusława with that same love, that light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Bogusława just for existing. And now see that love, that light, that energy overflowing from Bogusława and filling her whole house. Fill her whole house with that love, that light, that energy. Whether she's physically alone or not, we are always with her. And this love, this light, this energy is always there. And she can always tune into this energy from all of us whenever she wants to. It's there. Very, very good. And now let's go on to Lisa. And fill Lisa with that same love, that light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Lisa just for existing. Very good. Good job. And now let's go to Carrie. And so imagine filling Carrie with that same love, that light, that energy from the tips of her toes to the top of her head. Filling her with that love, that light. Love Carrie just for existing no matter what. And now imagine that light or energy filling each of the cells of Carrie's body, no matter what. The physical issues that she's having, the physical disease that she has, fill it all with that light, that energy, that love. Love it all anyway. Love each of those cells just for existing. Love her immune system just for existing. And now see her surrounded by a protective light, love, energy, that power. And see her own power shining out from her. Very, very good. And now let's send the next thing on the list is food. So let's send that love, that light, that energy to all foods. Whether you have cravings for them or sensitivity to them, love them all just for existing. It's all energy. Fill it all with that love, that light. Love it all just for existing without needing anything from it. Very, very good. And now let's fill Katrina with that love, that light, that energy from the tips of her toes to the top of her head, out to her fingertips. Love Katrina just for existing. And now I want you to think of Katrina and the disapproving eyes, her own disapproving eyes, her partner's disapproving eyes, and all the disapproving eyes she experienced growing up as a child, and love all of them. Send this light, this energy to all of the disapproving, all of the judgment, all of the criticism. Flood it with that beautiful light, that energy, that love. Love it all just for existing. And now to the extra weight any of us are carrying, love all of that anyway. Love the extra weight. Love the protection it's trying to provide. Fill it with that light, that energy. Shine the light into the darkness and love it all anyway. And now let's turn our attention to the person who's gone missing and fill her with that light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips, wherever she is, whatever she's experienced or experiencing, love it all anyway. See that light shining out from her to her surroundings, to her experiences, love it all anyway. Love her whether she comes back or not. Love her no matter what happens, just for existing. And now see that light or energy shining out from her and filling her family, her partner, and her loved ones with that same love, that light, that energy again, no matter what they experience, love them all anyway. Very good. And now to everyone who's on the call but doesn't have the camera on, so everyone who's incognito, fill them all with that love, that light, that energy. Love them all just for existing. Very, very good. Good job. And now Caro, who is, she doesn't have her camera on, but she's there. Fill her with that light, that energy, that love. Love Caro just for existing. And now imagine that love or light overflowing from her and filling her daughter with that same light or energy. And now send that light, that energy, that love to your childhood. Fill that little you with that love and see it overflowing, that power, that pure unconditional love. See it overflowing from that little you and filling your whole childhood and everyone in it. Very good. And now think of you later on today and fill that version of you with that same light, that energy, that love. Love that version of you just for existing. Very, very good. Good job. And you can open your eyes. I hope I aimed at everything that was on the list. But if not, you let me know and we'll do that. So how does everyone feel? How was that for everybody? Good. Very good. Good job. And any questions, any comments or anything else? Let us know. Let's have a look. Wow, very powerful. Good. Katrina said, very good. Fantastic. That was beautiful. I so appreciate this healing. Very, very good. You're very welcome. That was very special. Good job. I'm so grateful to hear that. I love hearing your feedback. And also, speaking of feedback, we would really, really appreciate if you would like to, if you feel that happy to do so, we would so appreciate a testimonial. If you're happy to do that, preferably written and video. if you're happy to do that, but if not, one or the other would be gratefully received. So any testimonials, you can just send them to my email address, or send them by messaging me on Facebook, or you know, and if you want to shoot a video on your phone and email that to us, that would be very, very much appreciated. And in fact, on our business page, the Remmert Method, there's an opportunity there to give us stars, to recommend us if you would like to. So we'd appreciate all of that. All right, so a question: how does one build new boundaries, especially emotional boundaries? That's a great question, and that will apply to a lot of people. So, and I had that myself, because we had no boundaries as children at all. So the answer is to build them in your childhood. So that's where it starts. So, you know, on a practical level, of course, do what you can to set them now, but doing just that won't be enough. So one of the things I learned just on a practical level was, I'll get back to you. Or, you know, so that buys you some time, because I don't know about you, but one of my biggest things was I always felt put on the spot, and I'd say yes to things and then resent it later and that kind of thing. So what I started doing was taking a mental step back and going, 1 second, I'll get back to you, and taking that moment to go, okay, so what is it exactly that I'm doing here? But what I did at the same time was I went to my childhood and changed it there, so that we were respected. We were given the respect, the space, the time, and all of that we deserved, and that all children should have. And we were spoken to with kindness and compassion and respect. I also changed the expectations, because, you know, we were expected to constantly be paying attention and responding and all of that. We weren't given the space and the time, so I recreated that. So something to remember is you can create brand new memories. You don't have to only change old memories. So change those memories, of course, the negative ones, but create new ones as well. So it's like planting new flowers. So create some memories that would represent boundaries to you as a child, whatever that means. And of course, change any memories where you didn't have boundaries. So do both of those things. And then while you're doing that, use little techniques like, you know, I'll get back to you, or I'll think about it, or not right now, you know, that kind of thing. So one of the things I learned, but it came from changing the childhood memories and using the superpower, is where I changed from using excuses to just being honest and straightforward. And so, you know, rather than saying, oh, because I would be pressured to think of reasons why I can say no, I'm sick, or my car broke down, or whatever, I've got this, and I started practicing saying, sorry, I just can't right now. And that's it. No excuses, just what made the difference for me was being in a state of unconditional love. So feeling filling myself with unconditional love, and I feel unconditional love for them, and that gave me the power to not feel obliged, not feel pressured, because I was able to hold that state of unconditional love, and I'm not required to do anything else. So I fill them with unconditional love, and I say, I'm really sorry, unfortunately I can't, or whatever the situation was. So I hope that helps. Does that help a bit? Very good. Good job. All right. And let's have a look. Going back. There we go. Thank you so much for the session. You're very, very welcome. Wonderful. Thank you. There was a definite shift. Everything became lighter, mirroring the sunshine. Lovely session. Thanks, everyone. You're very, very welcome. I'm so glad you were here with us. I noticed that throughout these weeks that everyone looks very radiant, filled with all this love and light energy. Yes, I've seen a difference as well in everyone's faces. And it makes perfect sense knowing what we now know about oxytocin, the biological effects of oxytocin on the skin and on the body in general. So that's a great point. Thank you for pointing that out. Kathy, it seems like the due justice letters, you need to stand up for yourself. Oh, very good point. Thank you, Cheryl, for recommending that. Of course, yes. So due justice specifically on boundaries, that would be a very, very good move. Thank you, Cheryl, for reminding me of that. Carrie says, please remember my sisters, they have this too. Oh yes, good point. So let's take a deep breath, close your eyes, go back into your superpower state. Feel your heart expanding, that light, that love, that energy shining out from your heart. Feel that physical feeling in your heart of expansion. Feel your power, this amazing light, energy, love shining out from you. And now fill Carrie with that same light and energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Carrie just for existing. And now I want you to imagine that light or energy overflowing from Carrie and filling her sisters with the same light, this energy, this love. Love Carrie's sisters just for existing. And love them no matter what. So think of the disease, however that's represented, and fill the disease with that same light, that love, that energy, no matter what. Shine that light into the darkness and feel that power. Love it all just for existing, no matter what. Very, very good. And you can open your eyes. Thank you for that. So that's great. Good job. And then love these sessions. I notice I'm taking better care of myself. That's wonderful. Good job. Yes. And it makes perfect sense. You're very welcome, Carrie. And so, I was just, I can't remember who I was, if it was Steve or my sister I was talking to, just saying how, the situation in the world, of course, it's challenging, and, there's a lot of challenges with that, but we wouldn't have been doing this if it wasn't for that. Because we wouldn't have thought of it, number one, but also you wouldn't have all been at home and in this position where we're all able to get together and do this every day for so long, which is, it's wonderful because it's given you a taste of what's possible because you've been able to come here every day and do it. So I appreciate the opportunity to share that with you. All right, Steve, you wanted to say something?
You probably did at the beginning when I wasn't here, but just a reiteration about next week, and we will continue.
Yes, so just to confirm that next week, so from Monday to Friday next week, we'll be doing this again. I will send out, and I'll make sure the email goes this time. I'll send out the, but you'll only get it if you were registered for this week. So because I don't want to keep sending emails to previous registrants in case they don't want to, or in case people have registered for several and then they'll get a whole bunch of emails. So if you're registered for this week, you'll get the email with the new booking link. It will be the same Zoom link. So even if you don't register, you can just click this, you can come back to the Zoom link for next week. But if you'd like the daily reminders where the link is in the email, you can just click that. Then if you register on the new link, you'll get that. All right. And for those who are interested in the childhood memory transformation, we have the workshop tomorrow from 9:30 to 3:30 p.m. Central Time, and the link is on the resources page for that if you wanted to join us for that. All right, so have a wonderful weekend. We love all of you, and keep practicing, and we look forward to seeing you back on Monday. All right, lots of love. Bye-bye now.